So David, from a production side, tell me what you start thinking about as far as VOD and when you're pitching. Is that an important component now? Or is still a preferred method theatrical, or is it
Yeah, I mean,
horses for courses?
so much of what you've been talking about with each of these speakers is a conversation that I either had directly or was in my head, and I think of the words clutter and disruption. There is an enormous amount of clutter out in the universe. There's so many places to watch, so many different things. And how do you get your project through that clutter and disrupt the audience to watch it? And I was very cognizant of that, even as we were shooting, because I think that way. I think, well, if I'm going to put all this work into this, I have to make sure people see my movie. I was like, it's not about money, it's about eyeballs. Like, how am I going to get eyeballs on the movie? And, I'm somebody who has this anxiety that I'm missing something as a viewer. I'll put on my Netflix and say, did I miss this? I didn't see this documentary about fashion designer. Is Dior and I, is that available yet, or is it in the theater? And I spend all this time trying to find things, and do I have it? And then I'm thinking, if I'm doing that, what is the average consumer who doesn't really even know everything that's out there? So you have this kind of filmmaker anxiety about how am I going to get eyeballs on the movie? So I will answer your question. So what I decided was, early on, I thought, regardless of who distributes the film, I need to push eyeballs to where it's going to play. So I approached this guy, Mark Echo. Many of you may remember that name or maybe not. He had a jeans company, Echo Jeans, and now he has this website called Complex Media, which umbrellas of like 20 different websites that are devoted to hip-hop, fashion, sport. It's this really cool site that has stories about upcoming music, stories about sneakers, and it's where all the people who are going to watch my movie go to find out about the subject of my documentary. And so I approached him and said, would you consider helping us get eyeballs on the movie? And it began this conversation. He wound up becoming a media partner. They are putting up a lot of money in kind, meaning they don't write a check, but they will spend a certain amount of money with footage, like Russell was talking about, that didn't make it into the film but is actually interesting, with sponsorship deals that they'll be selling to, software companies and soda companies, and they will drive eyeballs. Like in our deal, one of the first places we're going to be after a very brief theatrical will be on Vimeo. And I think the mistake that producers make sometimes, myself included, is, oh, fantastic, we're on Vimeo, we're great, let's go home, people are going to see it now. But no one's going to Vimeo to find my movie. So I got to get eyeballs pushed over to Vimeo. So how do I do that? And I chose Complex because I thought it was the best company indigenous to my subject. If I was doing a documentary about bears in Alaska, it wouldn't be Complex. It might be, how do I get to National Geographic or something? So I think, I'm giving you a very long-winded answer. If I was shooting myself, I'd cut it. But I would say what the sea change that is going on for producers and directors and people like myself is, you can't just think about the film. You have to think about, how do I get eyeballs to the film? It's not enough to get on iTunes. There's millions of films on iTunes. It's not enough to get on Netflix, but how do I get people interested in my movie? So that's part of the job of a producer.